Good morning. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I really was blessed by both the word we just heard and also the memory verse. And it is my hope and confession in my heart that I can enter 2025 with that honest, humble, and hungry spirit, three H's, as Brother Jeremy spoke, and apply that starting with the memory verse that we just read. I think it's worth, if you can bring up the memory verse again, James 1:19, that every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And the picture there is of a cheetah and a tortoise. I thought of another picture. Maybe I'll ask the children this. Like to ask the children when I get my 5 minutes to share. Which do you think is a bigger organ, the tongue or the ear? Your tongue or your ear? Which do you think is a bigger organ? Okay, on average, some people have long ears. I have a slightly long ear. I think most people's tongue is about the same size. Technically, the tongue, if you read it, up about 3 inches. The ear each is on average 2.5, but you have to count the ear canal, which is about an inch, times 2. Okay? 5 inches. If you added 2.5, 3.5, maybe 7 inches. And it's one of the biggest weaknesses we all have. We tend to think our tongue is bigger than our ears. And it's so important that so many verses there about being slow to speak, quick to listen. I find that to be a weakness in my life and has been a weakness for my life for many years. And the people who can give you the most feedback on that are your closest family, your children, your spouse, even your colleagues at work will tell you. And the beautiful thing about something like Zoom is, have you noticed in Zoom, if everybody tries to talk at the same time, what happens? It's absolute cacophony. So they have this little feature on Zoom, which is raise your hand. And sometimes we need that little timeout. And the part of the reason, and this has made me humble and hungry and honest with myself, why is it that we tend to speak more than we listen? It's because the second part of this work, because we get angry. Usually, our impulse to speak is the second part of that. Slow to speak and slow to anger. It's really, to me, a convicting verse that God spoke through His scriptures. The fact that the most often time that we're tempted to be quick to speak is because we're angry. There's something that stirs up in us that says, I have to speak. I have to speak now because they're not hearing me out. And it's like this lake that's somewhat calm, and then it all gets stirred up, and then you didn't realize at the bottom of the lake there's a bunch of dirt that all got stirred up, and you thought, oh, my soul was rest, or you think somebody at work or your home, something's okay, but out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And what God is really trying to teach us, is to nip. There's certain things that we have to nip in the bud. In Matthew 5, it talks about nipping in the bud, the eye, lust of the eyes. And it also talks about anger. And then anger starts well before you kill somebody with an evil word and something that... And there's many, many verses that we can read, but a few that I would just share that would help all of us, especially children. Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, they think he's intelligent. Think about that. And it's a tremendous, if we can, you go into 2025, Lord, make me humble and honest and hungry to understand the number of times I've spoken when I didn't need to speak, when I could have been listening a lot more, when I should be paying a lot of more attention without any distractions. I tend to, multitask. That's like being slow to listen. Lord, help me in 2025 to be a better listener. Help me be slow to speak, quick to hear, slow to anger. Make these verses that every Sunday we get an opportunity to take a command or a blessing. These memory verses are incredible. And we can apply honesty, humility, hunger to every one of those verses and digest them, chew on them during the week and say, Lord, these are precious words that we can live on. And then 2025 can be even better than 2024. And Lord, if I'm at a place where I need more of anything that Brother Jeremy shared today that's convicting me, thank you for giving me another year. I had a colleague of mine who was running our North America sales operation. 2 weeks ago, he was doing a triathlon, an Ironman event, 2 years older than me, 57. I'm 55. He was doing a triathlon with his young son. I think his son was probably a teenager. Had a heart attack in the water, in the swimming part of the event. They brought him on shore and he died. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I mean, he doesn't get to go to 2025. He's only 2 years older than me. It's not guaranteed that the Lord will knows everyone, our days on our earth is numbered. So, there's nothing magical about January 1st. It's a good time to remember the yearly rhythm. Lord, you've given us another year. There are many others who are not granted that liberty, and maybe you'll come back in 2025. Am I ready? I'd ask every one of you, young children, teenagers, adults, if we know people in our family life who are not, who we love, before the end of the year, this is a good time to say, Lord, I want to rededicate my life to you. If we're already given our heart, may our love not grow cold. May we rededicate ourselves so that our passion and our fire for God is at a whole new level in 2025. And then it doesn't have to be just a December 31st, January 1st, New Year's resolution. It could last, and we can grow from glory to glory, and we can encourage one another. There could be a great cloud of witnesses in this church. Then as they go into the world, as we've seen this year, there were some teenagers who went to college. They can be a witness there too. Amen.